and welcome to another video. So this is how last week's spread turned out after it's all said and done, and in this week's Plan With Me, I'm going to continue to use this notepad from Simply Gilded. I was really curious to see if I could make two spreads that felt distinct, even though the background of this notepad has such a set of colors. I was worried that it would set me into too narrow a color palette, and ultimately it does, but I think that this second week still came out distinct enough that I thought it was interesting, and then after this week I kind of move on from this notepad for a while. But for this week, this is where we are. This is the week of July the 13th through July the 19th, and with that intro out of the way, I will move us into a time lapse. Alright, so the first thing I did was lay down some date covers, and I wanted to pull in more of the blue for this because I thought that I could get different shades of blue and it still wouldn't look too bad. So I had these set of date covers from a printable from Planner Choco, and I laid them all down correctly this time. Last week I got a couple of the days in boxes that were too far down. And then I just continued using these date hearts from the Simply Gilded sub box because honestly this hot pink color is so specific and not one that I would use almost ever in most of the types of weekly spreads that I do. So since I was still using this notepad, I continued to use these date header things because otherwise I probably would never use them. So now I've got 2 weeks down and I've used half of them. So I thought that worked out quite nicely. They still fit in that spot well, and then they bring in the pink. So now my color palette is officially pink and blue, and I bring in like 2 yellow elements, very little of the yellow. I wanted to play up the pink and the blue. So lay all those down. And then I'm going in with these silver headers. I don't know how I feel about this. It kind of makes the writing space much smaller. And on the one hand, I didn't need a lot of writing space this week, but on the other hand, it makes the page look awkward, like the rectangles are too square now. I don't know, that's like a weird thing, but I noticed it while I was putting these down and decided to do it anyway. These are perforated headers from a washi tape that came in the June Simply Gilded sub box. So I just lay all those down because I wanted to get a chance to try them out. And then next I deal with the 2 boxes at the top and the bottom. I start with this remember sticker to denote things that I want to note for this week, and just have a set of weekly tasks for the week. And then at the bottom, this important sticker is actually for next week's stuff, not just important things, but I didn't have a next week header, so I just put that down and made a note to myself that that's where I wanted to put reminders for the upcoming week. And then the next thing, like, this was a hard spread to put together because this is another week where I had so little to do that I could have put almost anything down and it just really wouldn't have mattered. So this was an interesting spread to put together. I finally decided to start with my YouTube videos for the week because those are scheduled and those are things that I have to prepare for, no matter what else is happening or not happening in this case. So I marked those down, my Plan With Me on Monday, my teacher planner review on Wednesday, and then my Fairy Loot unboxing on Friday. And then at some point I make the note that I want to look into filming my August monthly Plan With Me, and I am so happy that the day that I'm filming this video or doing this voiceover, my August monthly stickers actually made it to my new apartment, because in July they got lost. I don't know where they ended up. I don't know anything. And then I had a planner order from Plum Paper, and that got delivered to the wrong building, and maintenance found it and gave it to the lease office, and then they contacted me and I found it. So I was really worried that my stickers were just going to get completely lost. But after having those 2 mix-ups, I think they figured it out because now it got to me and I can have that video up, and I'm so excited. So that's just something to note while I put down these checklists. And I use these vertical bow strips from a washi tape. So Simply Gilded started doing these vertical bow washi tapes, and I don't really use them. These came in a subscription box, so they're not things that I order separately from the subscription box, and they aren't something that I really know how to use in most instances. But because this spread was so small, like the boxes are small, I figured that having small bullet points would also be fitting. So I put down the vertical bow washi to use as a bow checklist, and that actually worked out quite well. I was a little worried that the spacings between them might be too narrow and I would have to write too small for it to be practical, but it was actually all right. Things look cramped because most checklists are more spaced out, but they did fit more or less my natural handwriting size, so it all worked out. Over on Monday, I'm making a note that I want to make a call, and then also, Saturday and Sunday, I marked that I wanted to call various people in my family, which I usually do on the weekends, so that was not anything new. And then over on Friday, I'm marking that that's when I want to film a plan with me. And I wasn't sure I would be able to do that on time. I was waiting for some pens that I was asked to review to get in, and I wanted to use them for that plan with me. But luckily, they arrived right on time, so that all went according to plan. Otherwise, other than that and the YouTube videos, I think almost none of this other stuff that I'm putting down actually got done according to plan. Thursday, I wrote that I wanted to start editing the Shadow Rising reading vlog because that's supposed to go up next week, and when you're watching this in 2 days. And those videos take me a really long time to put together because they're quite long, but then I didn't do it. So I've got to work on that sometime in the next couple of days. Down on Saturday, I wanted to finalize my August TBR so that I could start working on that video for the upcoming week as well. And then on Sunday's the day before I get paid, so I wanted to review my budget for the next couple of weeks. I have a monthly budget idea, but then I also budget down to the 2-week scale because I currently get paid every 2 weeks, so I want to make sure that with whatever paycheck it's in, it can cover like the bills and stuff in the upcoming 2 weeks, groceries, things like that. And I actually did that outlining earlier, but I wanted to make sure that on Sunday I reviewed it and everything still looked right, and to update it if there was anything else that I knew we needed to buy. And then I'm just thinking a lot because I'm just about done with this spread. There is not much else to add, so I fill in the rest of the space with these bow checklist strip thingies that I'm cutting. And this worked very well. I ended up using this spread quite a bit. Even if the things that I mapped out didn't always happen, it was a really good place to just put things down and like have an idea of where I wanted things to happen. And then if I had to move them further, that was fine. But I didn't have to like keep up with them in my head, which is really the main point of my planners, is to make sure I don't have to do that, because otherwise I get too anxious. So writing things down is just very helpful. And so I work on all of those, and they're different sizes, which I also enjoy because the fact that this is one long strip of washi tape means that I could have as many bows as there was room for in each box, and didn't have to worry about having only a couple because it was a small checklist, or too many if it was a long checklist, cutting things down. Like, I had exactly the number of bows that would fit in any given box that I had for this week. Then a couple of other notes. I wanted to make sure that we went to get new IDs. We still haven't done it. We're going to do it hopefully on Monday, the day this video goes up. But we need to go to the BMV, which is weird. I've always heard it as a DMV, like Department of Motor Vehicles, but around here it's a Bureau of Motor Vehicles, and we have to get new IDs for our new state. We have to get a new title in the new state. We have to get new plates in the new state. And so I'm hoping that we'll be able to just gather all our identification documents and like head down there with some cash and like get everything done all at once. Hopefully that all works out and it's not too like annoying. But otherwise, that just about ends this video. So there's not really much else for me to write. I think I add that I want to figure out how to pay my rent online this month. But other than that, that's about it. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!